Hello everybody. It's not Sunday afternoon, is it? Well, I was doing a little afternoon crafting and I thought I would jump on camera and share with you what I've been creating. So I told you last Sunday that I had found these haunted houses over at the Goodwill, and I've been starting to gather my bits and bobs to decorate it. So I shared with you that I've already added my lights, and I ended up, if I could do this without dropping everything, drilling a couple of holes. So I've got a hole here, and a hole here, because I wanted to be able to use the complete string to go on the bottom as well as the top. And I'm going to glue these so they're not all loose. So I'm just waiting for some of my product to come in before I start putting it together. But as you can see, I'm going to have bottles in here. I'm going to have skulls. Got some skulls here. And we're going to put together a haunted house. And then today what I did is I found some pictures that I've added to these, and they're going to go on the back of the house, kind of like hanging, right? And then I also have this crystal ball that I glued to one of the faux screws, I guess, from Tim Holtz, and I added this little bead. And these are going to be going in the shop. I'm going to also use these to fill my cauldron, which is on order, but I wanted to show you that I have my crystal ball also that I'm going to be adding. So it's coming together. But what I wanted to show you today is how I created these faux candles. And these are candles that were created with paper. If you recall, a few years ago, Tammy B, who is one of the designers for Tim Holtz, plays well with paper. She created these faux candles, and they're still tacky, using paper, because if you recall, Tim didn't always have these candles in his collection. Well, after Tammy created these, I think the next year he had them in his collection. And certainly it's a lot easier to buy them than to make them. But I wanted several candles for my haunted houses, and I have 2 haunted houses that I'm putting together. So I wanted to create some faux candles to be able to put in. So I thought I would show you just really easily and really quickly how I put these together. So let me go ahead and share with you how I did that. Just starting out with some paper, and again, this is scrap paper. I even got some ink on this. And it's thicker scrap paper. Just check one thing here. All right. So what you don't want to do is get really thin paper, because you're going to be adding hot glue to this. And I've got my hot glue gun right here ready to go. So basically what you want to do is kind of break the fibers a little bit. This paper is, I don't know, it's about 5.5 inches long by about 1 inch. But of course you can make your candles different sizes. Depending on, you know, the length of your paper. So, you know, all your candles aren't going to burn down exactly the same way, so you might want to have different lengths for your candles. And then once you have your paper cut out, you're just going to want to break the fibers. So the way that I do that is I just kind of twirl it to give it some movement, because you're going to be rolling this really, really tight. So I'm just kind of breaking the fibers a little bit, so that way when I go to glue it and roll it, it will be a little bit easier, right? Not a lot easier, but a little easier. Alright, so, alright, I think that's pretty good. Now for my wick, I'm just using just regular old twine, nothing fancy. So I'm just going to cut a piece off here. And then with my glue gun, I'm going to add my wick. Okay, and that's a little bit longer than I'm going to want, but I can trim that. Hey Gloria. So I've just got started. I'm creating candles. These are candles that are going to go into my haunted house, as you can see. And I also got a new camera, so I wanted to check out to see if it's any clearer. I've had some people say that my videos haven't been very clear, so we'll see if it's a little clearer. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm creating these candles for my haunted house. Alright, so I just glued in my wick, and you can trim this anytime. I'm going to trim it now. And then I'm just giving my glue a minute to dry. I'm using a hot glue gun, so it doesn't take very much at all. Alright, and then once that glue is dry, and I'm going to warn you, if you're working with a hot glue gun, and if you've never used a hot glue gun before, be careful, because I've been burning my fingers all afternoon. It gets pretty hot. Alright, just be careful. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start to roll this. And again, I've already kind of broken some of the fibers on my paper, because this is heavier cardstock, intentionally. And I'm just going to go ahead and roll these. Alright, and I want it to be as tight as possible. So I'm just going to continue to roll this, trying to, again, keep it really, really tight. I've been starting to gather items for my haunted house, and I put these people together. So these are going to go on the back of my haunted house, like hanging photos. And then I've got my crystal ball here ready to go. So I've been just gathering bits and bobs for my haunted house. Alright, so again, trying to keep this really tight, and then I'm going to add some glue here. Hopefully, I just burnt my thumb. And then, it's so hot it goes through the paper. And then I'm going to just kind of roll this and hold it for a minute. It's so hot. I've had this glue gun forever. I think it's probably time to invest in a new one. Alright, so it doesn't take long for this glue to dry. Just giving it a minute here, just to kind of hold it in place. And I'm not too careful about these, because I want them to be grungy candles. So just enough to hold that paper in place, right? Alright. Okay, let me get rid of this stuff here. Alright, now ordinarily, if I'm making these candles, I would make several of these at this point. And then what I would do is I would, add glue to the bottom, a lot of glue, and then stick it down on my media mat, and I would let it dry. Now, if you don't have a media mat, you can use like wax paper, anything that, once the glue dries, you're able to lift it up. So I'm using my media mat, and I'm just going to give it a minute here. In fact, as that dries, I'm just going to add some more glue to the top. Just let it drip a little bit. I'm just letting that dry a minute. I'm going to pick it up as soon as it's still kind of wet. I get a little anxious when I'm making these because they're so fun to create. Let's see if I can move that a little bit. So yeah, so this is drying. This is going to be the base. And then, as you can see, this is the base here. And then I end up painting it all after I add my drips. So that's what we're waiting for right now, is to just have my base dry a little bit. I think that's all right. See, ordinarily this would glue right on, but I've been patient. But let me just add that. That'll do for it right now. Okay, just for demonstration purposes. Alright, so you're going to want to make sure this is nice and dry. Again, I pulled it up a little prematurely just because I'm live and I kind of want to show you how I'm doing this. And then I added some glue to the top, and now we're going to create some drips. So to create the drips, you start at the bottom and then just kind of work your way up. And remember, on a candle, your drips are at different levels, right? So you're not going to want all your drips to be the same size. And these candles take a little bit of practice. Your first ones aren't going to be perfect. I know mine aren't. But like anything, it's just paper. And the more you practice, the better you'll get, right? Ah, I'm burning my fingers. Alright, so once you have your drippy wax, you really want to let it dry. So I probably should have thought about this a little bit more before I came on camera. But that's okay. So you're going to want to let this completely dry. Let's see if we can help it. Now remember, you're putting hot air on glue, so it's going to melt more, but it does help it to kind of become a little bit more organic, I guess. But anyway, so you get the idea, right? Yes, it is hot. All right. So like I said, when I'm making these, I'm not rushing. I will create several of these, glue them down, and let them dry. But for demonstration's sake, I want to kind of show you how this works. And if you're not happy with the drips, you can always pull them off and start over. Again, I'm just kind of playing, so, and you want it to be textured, so that's okay, right? Let's see if we can make this stick down a little bit more. Alright, let's try this again. So, drip, 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 drip. And then you gotta let it do its thing. So let's see if we can put this down without touching it. Alright, so you're going to want to make several of these. Like I said, they're pretty easy. And then let the glue dry, because the glue needs to be dry, because the next thing you're going to do is you're going to get some white paint and you're going to paint it. Now, I didn't like the exact white paint, so I added this antique linen. So if you have some off-white, that probably would be best. I mean, I guess you can make it a white camera or a white candle, right? But it's a haunted house and it's supposed to be like a, you know, a burnt candle. So I wanted it to not be exactly white. So I don't know. All right, so this is drying. Probably not ready yet. We'll give it another second here, and then we'll add our paint. So I'm kind of excited. I'm overexcited about putting my haunted house together, but I know I have to wait for all my items. I don't want to start gluing things yet until I have everything, but I'm going to add this here. It's going to go right here, and then I'm going to have my skulls, and I'm going to have a cauldron with baubles. It should be pretty cool. All right, I know this is probably still not ready, but we can start getting the paint together. All right. So once you have all of your drips on your candle, then you want to paint it. So I'm just adding some white paint to this. And again, if you have a beige paint, that probably would be good. This is mica stain. Let's add a little bit of this. Again, I'm just kind of experimenting. So, like I said, with anything, you got to practice. Let's add a little bit more. Okay, just trying to dilute some of this white paint because I don't want it to be all white. Alright, that's pretty good, I guess. It's dry enough. Alright, so then what you're going to do, essentially, is just start painting. And remember, you're painting plastic, so it's wax. So you're going to have to do a lot of dabbing to get into the crevices. So just adding, and as you can see, I'm not careful. I'm just really dabbing it to cover it. Now, if you don't want your fingers to get all dirty and messy, you might want to put on some gloves. I probably should have, but I didn't. And I'm just adding more paint to the base of it. It's a messy job, but you get the idea, right? It's a lumpy candle. Alright. It's pretty good. Not bad. And then once that dries, if you want to add, you know, some more coloring to it to have it look I don't know, whatever color you want, then you can add another layer. But that's pretty much it. I know that if you want to have your candle look like it was used, you can burn the top part of it just a little bit, just to give it that charred look. I haven't done that yet. I might do it, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But, hey Rebecca, yeah, I was just, I was making candles for my haunted house, so I decided to pop on, and I actually wanted to try out my new camera. I got a new camera. We'll see if the clarity is any better. But yeah, so I'm making these candles for my haunted house. So a little tacky. So this is what I've been working on today. Just making these little candles. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 now. That probably is enough. We'll see. Let me just put sometimes I don't know when to stop, so I'm just adding a little bit more color just to give it a little bit more of an orangey look. But yeah, you can use whatever colors you want, right? I guess you could also look at like blood's dripping. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Pretty straightforward. Not too difficult. But yeah, like I said, like with anything, it takes practice. These candles are going to be in the background of my house, so I'm not overly concerned about how they look. I think they look pretty good, actually. But they'll do. But it's just paper, like I was saying. So if this is, you know, a technique you want to learn, it's just paper and glue, so you can, and paint, so you can practice, you know, as much as you need to, and then just pick out the ones that you like best, right? I mean, like I said, it didn't take me long to create 6 candles, and then I'll just pick out the best ones. Or maybe I'll use them all. I don't know. We'll see. But not too difficult. Like anything, I think once you break down the process, you can figure out that it's not too difficult to put some of this stuff together. So there they are. My little candles. I think they look pretty good. What do you guys think? And like I said, they're going to go in the back of my haunted house, so even if they look terrible, I think as background, they'll be pretty good. So, like I was saying, I have my little crystal ball here that I'm going to be putting in there as well. And I'm going to rest these up a little bit, and then these are going to go in, you know, in the back, hanging. I'll glue those, but they're going to be in the back hanging. And then I have a cauldron coming, and I have a broom coming. So yeah, just a few things here and there for my haunted house. So I'm super excited to start putting it together, but you know, I need to get all of my little bits and bobs together before I start gluing. And I'm so anxious to start gluing it together, but I keep telling myself, don't do it, because like anything, you know, you want to measure twice, cut once. Well, you want to place twice, glue once, because once you glue it, you're pretty much stuck. So the only thing that I've put together so far is my lights, and I haven't even glued down the lights yet because I'm going to have that cauldron and I want the lights to come through the cauldron. I might actually add this. I'm going to put some screws here and this will go here. And then I have the stand also that I have to paint. So I'm going to paint this. I'm going to paint this black. So I could probably do that, right? And then I have this little fence here that I'm going to put right here. And then I have some tombstones coming as well that I'm going to add. So it's coming together. It's not quite there yet, but it's coming together. And part of the process, of course, is collecting all your little items for your haunted house. So yeah, so that's all I had. I just wanted to share with you what I was working on with my dirty fingers, making these little candles. And I'll probably make a few more because, like I said, with anything, practice makes perfect. So I'll just keep making these. I think I might get a new glue gun though, because I want the tip of my glue gun to be a little bit more pointed. And let's face it, this one's kind of a mess. So I might get another glue gun just to have my drips a little bit more finer. I don't know, I think they look alright though. And then anyway, if I have several of these candles, then I can just kind of put them in a bag, right? And then whenever I need a candle, I can just go to my bag and grab it. Alright guys, that's all I have. Like I said, this was just a quick drop-in to share with you what I'm working on and to show you the progress of my haunted house. I feel like I haven't made much progress, but like I said, you've got to kind of gather all of your items, right? I've got these little skulls that I put together here. I've got 2 skulls in here with some moss. And then, like I said, I've got my people that are going to go in the back. And then I've got these little bottles that I'll fill up and put like poison or something, I don't know. And then of course I'll add my paper dolls, but those go last. But that's it guys. Alright, well thanks for popping in. Like I said, I just kind of turned on the camera to share with you what I was working on. And I'm glad you guys popped in to say hello. Hopefully I'll see you guys on Sunday for our Sunday afternoon crafting. You know, my son's coming in. You know what? I might not be able to do Sunday afternoon actually because I have a birthday party that I'm going to. Yeah. So I don't think I'll be doing Sunday afternoon crafting, you guys. I guess I should probably put in an announcement out there, right? Alright, well maybe this will have to be my Sunday afternoon crafting. Hey Cordelia, I'm just finishing up. I was just sharing these little candles that I'm making for my haunted house. It's been quite a mess here in my craft room, but I'm starting just to gather all of my items for my haunted house, and the next thing on my list was my candles. I did order the cauldron, and I'm gonna color up these balls and put them in my cauldron. I have some smaller ones actually. So these are going to get colored with some of my alcohol inks. So maybe I'll do a video when I do those. But just thought I'd share with you my progress on my little haunted house that I'm working on. As I collect my items, I'm just kind of throwing them in my house because I was saying I can't start gluing until I have everything. But I'm starting to formulate my ideas. I'm going to paint this black. And then this will be my little gate, and then I've got some tombstones coming as well. And then my little crystal ball. So it's getting there. Alright guys, I know everybody's starting to join now, but I just finished. So just an announcement, I do have a birthday party I'm going to on Sunday, so I don't think that there's going to be any Sunday afternoon crafting. So apologies for that. I just kind of figured that out right now. So yeah, so just a quick pop-in. I'm going to keep making candles, and hopefully there'll be a few that I really like. I like this one. Believe it or not, this was my very first one I made, and it's actually my favorite. But some of these other ones are pretty good as well. Yes, they are very tiny, but it's a tiny haunted house. So, I even got my skulls. Look at my skulls. Aren't they cool? I got a really big skull that I'm going to put on top. I'm so excited about putting this together. I can't wait. And then, of course, it's going to light up. Once I actually get it together, I'll definitely come on and I'll share it with you once I have it completely put together. Right now, it's in the build stage, the idea stage. The idea stage. All right, guys, I'm going to really go now because I'm rambling. So no Sunday afternoon crafting. I'm going to a birthday dinner. It's not really a party. She's 85, so I don't know if that's really a birthday party, but it's a birthday dinner. So we're going to go to that on Sunday. So no Sunday afternoon crafting. All right, everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. It's almost the weekend, right? Exciting, exciting. And I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye.